Welcome to the Simplify Your Life podcast. It's Coach Simona, and I'm glad you decided to tune in. Hey everyone. In today's podcast episode, I'm going to share with you cognitive biases examples, and we'll specifically dive deeper into one of the most common cognitive distortions called confirmation bias. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Simona, certified life coach and author of the book 111 Ways to Simplify Your Life. I make weekly podcast episodes on personal development, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. Now, before we dive into confirmation bias and some helpful examples when it comes to this cognitive distortion, I want to remind you that this is the 10th episode of my series on cognitive biases, and there will be 5 more to come in the upcoming months, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't listened to the previous 9 episodes, I will leave links to them in the description box below. I've also created a special YouTube playlist, so you can listen to all the episodes on cognitive biases by visiting youtube.com/CoachSimona. Now, before we explore confirmation bias in depth, let's clarify what cognitive bias actually means. A cognitive bias is a systematic error in thinking that affects the decisions and judgments that you make. Another popular term that has the exact same meaning as cognitive biases is cognitive distortion. Now, as we mentioned, the cognitive bias we're going to explore in depth today is called confirmation bias. What does this cognitive distortion actually mean? Confirmation bias is all about favoring information that confirms your previously existing beliefs. For example, people generally prefer to spend more time looking at information that supports their political stance, while neglecting information that contradicts it. Confirmation bias was first explored by Peter Wason in 1960. When he conducted an experiment in which participants were asked to find a rule that applied to a series of 3 numbers. Long story short, he concluded that people gave more weight to evidence that confirmed their pre-existing beliefs and undervalued evidence that could disprove it. Another example of confirmation bias is someone who struggles with health anxiety and is looking up symptoms online to confirm a diagnosis that they assume they already have. They haven't gone to the doctor. They have no proof that there's anything wrong with them, yet they keep convincing themselves that they have this alleged illness by gathering proof from online websites, forums, and so on. Now, confirmation bias is at play here. When they are searching for information, they're not viewing the situation objectively. They're trying to prove to themselves that they're right, and they're trying to reinforce the pre-existing belief that they're ill. The information they find supports their opinion, and that in turn creates even more symptoms, which leads to even more anxiety, fear, worry, and difficulty accepting other people's opinions. As with any other cognitive bias, confirmation bias can be difficult to detect. So we need to be aware of its manifestations to be able to spot our errors in thinking and choose a better, more objective view of the situation. The question is, do we all struggle with confirmation bias? Or is it something that only happens to a handful of us? The short answer is probably yes. While we can't confirm that that is the case for every single person on planet Earth, it's definitely something that is quite common for us humans. We all have cognitive biases and blind spots. So although we may not struggle with confirmation bias per se, we will definitely have problems with other cognitive biases. I've actually made a free downloadable cheat sheet with the top 15 cognitive biases that may be holding you back. So if you want to download it, just click the first link in the description box below or visit bit.ly/15biases. Now let's go back to confirmation bias. Here are a few examples to illustrate this cognitive bias. As humans, we're more likely to be friends with people who share the same beliefs and values as us and choose them over people who don't. Another example of confirmation bias is not listening to concrete evidence that contradicts your opinion when it's coming from the other person while you're having a conversation with them. No matter how many facts they say, you still won't budge because your mind is too invested in your opinion and you're refusing to change it. That doesn't mean that there is anything wrong with you or that you're being stubborn. This is a cognitive bias, which means it happens whether or not you want it to happen. One of the things you can do is to look for more information before forming a conclusion or opinion on something. Search for credible evidence and analyze if the statement you currently believe in can be backed or not. The more objective you are about your own cognitive biases, the easier it would be to spot confirmation bias next time you think or feel strongly about something. As you can see, before we come to any conclusions, it would be beneficial to step back and objectively assess the situation. So how can we do that? What can help a lot when it comes to spotting confirmation bias is to ask yourself the following questions. 1. Is this a fact? 2. What evidence can I collect to support this statement? 3. Am I being rational here, or is this a cognitive bias? 4. If this is a cognitive bias, which one is it? These questions will make even more sense as we go deeper into this topic with the next episodes of the Cognitive Biases series. If you're curious to see what else we're going to cover in the next few months, make sure to download your free cheat sheet at bit.ly/15biases. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this episode helpful, please like it. And subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on my weekly podcast episodes. I'm sending you all my love, and I'll talk to you in the next one.